we go. Live before lock. Myself and no one? I don't see any Chris Spags there. Spags is working on his internet, getting himself rebooted. He'll be popping in shortly, but I wanted to just go ahead and get ourselves live. What's going on, everybody? Oh, this slate, guys. This slate. It is... I tweeted it earlier. It's honestly one of the worst slates that I can remember. We have Rockets Blazers, which is the only game that we can confidently look at and think there's not any real weird stuff here. Outside of, I guess, Eric Gordon starting. Not to mention, just general weirdness with the Rockets. But that's nothing compared to the rest of this. Spurs, Suns. We just got news, no Bertans, which doesn't really change anything. Solidifies Dante Cunningham, I guess. But the Suns side, if anybody's confident in anything that's happening for the Phoenix Suns, good for you. TJ Warren could play 26 minutes. He could play 36 minutes. DeAnthony Melton is one of the chalkiest guys on the slate, if not the chalkiest, depending on which site you're playing on. Troy Daniels can play basically any amount of minutes tonight, and I wouldn't be shocked. Jawan Evans is now a part of the Suns and projected to get minutes. Elie Okobo is now going to the G League for reasons that I don't particularly understand. I figured being a young point guard trying to take his lumps in the league would be the perfect spot for Phoenix, yet here we are just cycling through more point guards. And then we've got the Clippers and Raptors hanging over our heads in the worst possible way. Kawhi Leonard is up in the air, is probably the best way to say it. Most signs, or at least the only sign that has come out in any sort of way today, was a mention that they expect him to play. By all accounts, he's playing. No one's confident about that, particularly people that play on FanDuel. I am playing Kawhi as if he's playing, which is super duper scary. So I might just eat 60% of my lineups whenever that news comes out. What are you going to do? It's just weird. Lou Williams up in the air, questionable. It seems like he's not going to play, but he's questionable, so I don't have any choice. I have to project him in. That has a ripple effect through Avery Bradley and Beverly and Teodosic potentially. I mean, would you be really shocked if the Clippers sat Boban and just started playing Gortat again? Because I certainly wouldn't. I don't know what to make of it all. But that's what we're here for, to work our way through. I'm really, really nervous about this slate. But I'm hoping that my nerves are just fixed by randomness. So let's talk through it. I'll start Rockets Blazers. We'll tag back in to Chris if and when he gets here. He was rebooting his modem last he messaged me. Yeah, still no new message. Rebooting. He was having some power flickers, so he's just gonna eventually pop into this. So when you see Chris pop in, make sure to wave and say hi. Rockets right now 113 implied total. Blazers 106.5. I'm honestly surprised by that line. The Rockets don't feel like a team that deserves that, but the Blazers have been on a bit of a schneid lately. So, maybe it's legitimate. You would think that the Blazers are set up pretty well to take advantage of this Rockets team right now from a defensive standpoint, but I don't know. Harden, the clear best play out of this game from a ceiling perspective. 11-5 on FanDuel, 10-7 on DK. We're projecting 42% ownership for Harden on FanDuel. I'm coming in under that, actually. I'm having a hard time justifying going that heavy on Harden right now. A lot of that has to do with going the opposite direction. I'm basically flip-flopping the exposure on Harden and Lillard. So Lillard is only in the low 20s. I'm going into the 40s. Harden the opposite. He's in the 40s and I'm going into the 20s. It just feels like a day where I need to be a little bit more different. The rest of Houston, there's nobody that I'm just outwardly focused on. Harden, Capella, Paul, Gordon, Tucker. That's where it all is for me. It's really hard to justify anything else. PJ Tucker is actually the guy that I'm going most over the field on. I've got 26% right now. We're only projecting 17. Sometimes it's just all about cramming things in as best as you can. I think PJ Tucker fits this game pretty well. Not that I'm like super excited about it. Let's be clear here. It's PJ Tucker. I guess I should probably talk more about the Portland side. Dame Lillard, 10-2 on FanDuel, 9,700 on DK. The Rockets have been a below-average defense from a fantasy perspective. Pretty much the entire season. Over the last 15 games, they give up fantasy points on a per-possession basis. 2% more than average. That's a far cry from where they were last year. I don't really see a scenario where Dame doesn't have the ability to do what he wants. Chris Paul has not looked, I guess healthy would be the right way to say it. It makes me feel bad to say it because I hate speculating on people's health, but I just don't feel like Chris Paul is right. So this looks like a really nice spot for Dame. Nurkic, not a guy that I'm really getting to. I just have him and Capella too similar, and I just greatly prefer Capella, oddly enough. Just from an ownership perspective. CJ McCollum is a guy that I'm coming in over. So it's basically all Lillard and McCollum. I'm not really looking at anything else from the Portland side. I just need Lillard to carry the weight. Let's take a look at chat. You might have switched me from Lillard to Harden, Josh. Hope it pays off. Wait. I switched you from Lillard to Harden? Okay, Harden to Lillard. There's the corrected message. Makes sense. Yeah, it's an ownership play. Harden at 42% kind of scares me. I'll still have shares. If I'm playing, a bunch of lineups, it's really hard to ignore anyone completely. But I think that this is the most appealing game to have the high-end talent. The Hardens, the Capellas, the Lillards, the McCollums, even Chris Paul, I'm with the field. Just because there's so much variability in the rest of these games. If Kawhi ends up being out at 10 o'clock, that changes the whole scope of the Raptors. Lou Will, if we get that news, changes the scope of the Clippers. The Suns are, as unreliable as it gets. So, Ricky, you're saying drop down from Harden to McCollum and go up from Lowry to Lillard. I generally don't enjoy having both Dame and CJ in the same lineup. So if you are doing that, you probably want someone from the closing lineup of Houston on the other side, whether that's Tucker or Gordon. I assume it's not going to be, Paul or Harden in that scenario. I heard a bing bong.
Hey, what's up, bitches?
What's going on?
I gotta start my video. That was what the hell happened? Oh, good. I'm on the wrong camera too. We're doing great.
Chris Spags, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on 1 second. We're having a ball today. What did I say?
I'm gonna mute you so you stop going. Okay, you're good. Welcome back, sir.
All right. No, I'm glad to be back. It was a mess. So let's tell people what happened real fast. So Eddie slacked, hey, can we do a 3-man show? The second that he did that, I went to Josh like, should we do this today? Can we do this? And everything in my house flashed and crapped out. And then it did it more times and I had to reset all my breakers. And now here I am doing this show, but my network was down. Basically, at the sum of it all, Eddie has witchcraft powers, and that's why he's good at basketball analysis.
There we go. I'm glad you're here. Do you know why?
Why?
It's not about like really wanting to talk to you or anything like that. I don't want it to seem like it is.
Is it because you're going to promote something? Because we're not promoting that thing today.
Yeah, well, you usually do any reads and promotion for this stuff, so I didn't prepare anything.
So what we are promoting today I'm glad I get to come in and just immediately be a whore. But what we are promoting today is a contest at Yahoo. Yahoo is doing their $1 Million Baller, and that is a tournament in which Yahoo is offering a $1 million prize pool in total with $250,000 in guaranteed overlay. And it's a 10 entry max. So it's a realistic shot for all of you guys. You're not going up against 150 lineups. You're going against just 10 on Yahoo. And what you could do is you could sign up with our promo code AWESEMO, and I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you as well. And you get $30 back on any deposit, $30 or more. So look, this is a very realistic tournament to win. And this is one where you get in there right now. Yahoo wants to get people in the mix for this and the fantasy. A lot of people obviously very disappointed after the season-long campaigns end. So this is their biggest tournament yet. It's their best one yet. Go sign up with the link I just dropped in there. It's awesemo.com/Yahoo1M. And you can join the $1 Million Baller and get a shot at a $1 million prize pool. We're gonna be Yahoo boys this week, Josh.
Yahoo.
Yeah, no. So even though we have that other presenting sponsor on our thing right now, that's just like a courtesy apparently. But we don't actually have to promote them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's what I learned today. So a little behind the scenes for the folks who like behind the scenes stuff. I'm flustered. What are the news updates? What did I miss while my internet died and my life was falling in shambles?
Bertans is out. Dante Cunningham can play. I know that was probably what you were worried about.
Yeah, those are the big ones I was waiting for. Where's the Bertans news? So what are we doing with Kawhi? What are you doing with Kawhi with your little FanDuel boy nature?
I'm playing him aggressively.
Okay, I agree with that. I'm doing that, but I'm doing it on DraftKings, so the hope is I could pivot. One guy
sent me lineups today that you can pivot. You can pivot. Oh, speaking of being able to pivot, Fantasy Cruncher, people, Fantasy Cruncher now has re-crunching. What? That's it. That's my plug. So if you go to Fantasy Cruncher and you are a DraftKings player and you are looking to fix your lineups because someone is a late scratch or you just want to change stuff up, you can use the late swaptimizer, upload your CSV, and re-crunch your lineups based on everybody that's out and re-optimize and re-upload. We will go over this in the future.
That would have been helpful for me yesterday because I had to re-crunch mentally when Giannis was ruled out. Ended up going to Chris Middleton. A lot of people in the premium Slack actually tagged me because I was in first place in the and one for quite a bit. Switched to Middleton. Middleton not quite performed up to snuff, though Eric Bledsoe did. But Middleton cost me that shot at first place, so that hurt. But a re-crunch might have bailed me out there with our pals at Fantasy Cruncher.
There you go. Well, now it's available as of today.
We can re-crunch our minds out, DraftKings people, not like these FanDuel nerds who just have to sit there and watch like a bunch of cucks.
Meanwhile, when Kawhi gets scratched at 10:25, I'll be asleep and I won't even know that I just lost 60% of my lineups.
Good. That's a peaceful way to approach it. I'll be staring at my screen like, do I have enough Kawhi? Do I have too much Kawhi? And then he's going to put up 30 points anyway because he's going to play like half the minutes on a back-to-back or something.
It's honestly really annoying.
One dude on the back sent me his lineups, and he was sending ones which had like parts of he had Kawhi at first, and he sent one that had like Lowry and I was like, well, if you're gonna play like on FanDuel, if you're playing them, I think you're playing Lowry, Siakam, and Ibaka together. And I think if you're assuming Kawhi is gonna play, then you're just playing Kawhi. So like I think that would be one thing I would say for FanDuel people is I wouldn't want to half step if I were doing that either way.
I agree.
Kevin Zoe asking, what's the promo on Yahoo? Kevin Zoe, it is awesome-o. So that's a one for you guys.
Yes, it is. It is awesome-o.
Chris is definitely a MAGA. Chris is not. Chris is very liberal. Chris is a New Yorker. What are you talking about? Baller 2234. I just think it's funny to call people cucks because I like trolling people.
Sure. What do you think about the Houston-Portland game? That's the only thing I really talked about before you get in here.
So I like Harden a lot. I'm confused by Chris Paul. I like them in the morning. I like him less as the day goes on. I'm also a little confused by Capella because he's really gotten owned by Nurkic in the last couple matchups. He's had okay days, but Nurkic has much better days. So that kind of worries me a little, but I'm playing a ton of Capella and I'm playing a ton of Harden right now.
Okay. What are you doing with Dame then?
What was that?
What are you doing with Damian Lillard?
I'm not playing a lot of Dame. I don't think he's that great of a play. I actually don't love the Trailblazers side much outside of Nurkic. I have some Dame, but not a lot. He's not at a great price on DraftKings at 9,700. I don't like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm playing the inverse. I'm playing half the field of Harden and double the field of Lillard tonight.
Can we talk about the big question, which is D'Anthony Melton?
It's different on FanDuel than it is on DK, but yeah, let's go to it. That's
right.
Right where I was getting to, basically, once you popped in.
Yeah, that was like the main event was D'Anthony Melton. And I don't know. I like Melton a lot. And I think the thing which jumped out to me on NBA Wowie, it's a small sample size, because he hasn't got a ton of minutes. He seems to make everybody better, which I think tends to bode well for him getting playing time. So I like him quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody's better for the Suns. No one's making anyone better. Everyone's making each other worse. But it's a completely different question on DK, where he's 4,300. He's 5,300 on FanDuel. I totally understand why he's 66%. Well, I understand why he's heavily owned at 4,300. I would not be anywhere near 66. I would probably be in like the mid to high 30s if I had to guess. Mm-hmm. Too much variability, but like value's value. And I have him in for 28 minutes right now. It's conceivable that he plays 34. It's probably conceivable that he plays 24. So you got to take your chances. I think 66 is too much, though.
What if I told you I had 50% Melton? So I think that's reasonable. To me, like that's generally my cutoff point, unless I really, really love somebody, is 50%. If you want another Sun who I have 50% of, who would it be?
Wait, am I trying to guess who else you have 50% of?
Mm-hmm.
Value or not value? Like cheap or not cheap?
He is value.
Okay.
He's very cheap.
Eric Gordon? PJ Tucker?
No.
I don't know.
No, Suns.
Oh, on the Suns?
Yeah.
Don't say Juwan Evans.
No, I do. I have 10% Juwan Evans. Now Troy I have 50% Troy Daniels.
Yeah, that's not a great play.
Why? Tell me why it's not a great play.
You want to be 10x the field on Troy Daniels tonight?
Because I think the value is so bad on the slate, and I think a lot of people are going to have Eric Gordon, and I don't like him because he's moving lineup. He's going to shoot less, and he's been terrible dating back to February with both Harden and Paul. So to me, like Troy Daniels is going to be cheap. He opens up enough of the other stuff, which I think is crucial to have. So I ended up with a lot of Troy.
Ooh. Yeah, good luck with that one.
We talked about it. I'm heavying up on the dudes who look good enough to me. I think if we're going to say Troy Daniels gets me 26 minutes, I think I'm happy with that outcome versus the Spurs. And I also think he's not popping on the optimizers. I don't know why he's not getting more minutes on the optimizers.
Because Juwan Evans is here and TJ Warren is here,
but those aren't
Jamal
the same
Crawford
position.
is questionable.
Yeah. Well, Evans isn't playable if Crawford is in. I think that much has been outright by them.
There's no telling what these fucking Suns do.
They are very sneaky, and doesn't speak well to his Eastern European upbringing, Igor Kokoskov's, that he's very secretive. Seems like he might be manipulating Facebook algorithms on the side.
Yeah, I would be nervous about that much Troy Daniels. That's a scary amount.
Trill Fate in the YouTube chat. Do you give advice from 150 lineup perspectives? Not at all us to do that many, or not all us do that many. I'm doing 20 max.
It's also the same advice.
Yeah. It's still the same ratios and stuff. You just tolerance level, how you feel comfort with the guys and what you think their chance of success is. For me, I think Troy Daniels is 50-50.
Yeah. It's all the same shit.
But no, I think you're right. I probably should be a little lower on Troy Daniels, but this internet stuff really threw me for a loop, and it's not going to change now. I'll tell you that much.
Crawford is 47 years old. He's not playing big minutes. It's not about him playing big minutes. It's just about him playing minutes. Everyone he plays is another one someone else can't.
That is true. Are you worried about the Suns on the back-to-back at all? I feel like they have young legs, so it doesn't worry me too much.
They're fucking terrible. Who cares if they're playing a back-to-back? Why are we worried about it like they're going to stay in this game? I mean, they might stay in this game, but the back-to-back is not the reason that it's a problem. Who gives a shit if they played yesterday? They're all bad.
So are you fading Spurs then? Because you're not super into the Suns?
Ton of Spurs. DeMar. I mean, Aldridge is one of my favorite plays of the day. Tons of Rudy Gay. I probably have more Spurs than any other team, oddly enough. Kind of.
So then how do the Suns stay in the game then if DeMar and LaMarcus are going to hit value? Some would say it's probably through DeAnthony Melton or through Troy Daniels.
I don't care if they stay in the game. I'll have the Spurs shit dudes in some lineups and the Spurs good dudes in others.
What about Rudy Gay?
I'm like with the field.
A little above the field. I had to bump his projection up because he didn't come out that well straight away for me, and I feel like his role is weird. Like he'll have a 30% usage rate one game, then a 10% the next game. I don't really get what they're doing there. Anything interesting in chat?
Who's your favorite Spur tonight?
Probably DeRozan.
Okay.
Yeah, DeRozan or Gay.
You're a big Gay guy.
Big, very, very team Gay. Definitely going heavy on Gay today. Are you going to be Aldridge? I feel like you're going to be Aldridge.
I prefer Aldridge. It's probably Gay though.
The Aldridge thing has not worked out once for me this year, and I know that's not a reason to not play him, but I feel like I got to see that 50-point side once from him in recent times.
You broke up there. What did you say?
Oh, like I feel like you just haven't seen that 50-point upside from him at all in recent times, and I need to see it a little bit.
I'll be happy with 43.
I guess it is a slate which there probably shouldn't be much scoring, so that is got to take what you can get. But I just don't like Aldridge. 8,100 on DK. I'm not dying to pay for him when he can barely get to 5x.
Yeah. Key caveat for the Spurs: they're basically all significantly better priced on FanDuel than they are on DraftKings.
Okay.
Rudy Gay is only $100 more expensive. Aldridge $300. DeMar $400. Jakob Poeltl $100. Patty Mills is cheaper. Marco Bellinelli is $200 more expensive. Cunningham is cheaper. Bryn Forbes is cheaper. You just like anytime that people are cheaper on FanDuel than DK, it's usually a sign that you should be playing them.
That seems fair. Derek Nolan, Aldridge is a damn good play tonight on a 3-game slate. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with you there, but I just feel like somebody's going to have his upside on the slate, and I don't know who it's going to be necessarily, but he just hasn't shown me much of a ceiling where I feel like I'm going to miss out for sure. But on a 3-game, I get it. You want security. You want to feel safe at night with LaMarcus Aldridge hitting half of his 20-foot jumpers.
Yeah, I'll say this much. The last time that the Spurs and the Suns played, which I think was a couple weeks ago, I loved the idea of Aldridge. I was like, oh, how could he possibly play like shit against the Suns? And I think he went like 1 for 12 from the field or something. I haven't even looked back at it. It's just hitting me now. So I guess let me click on it.
He's had 2 bad games versus them this year, but the first one was a blowout where he and DeRozan both stunk. And the second game, he just stunk.
Oh, it was the one they lost. He went 3 for 12 from the field, and they lost to the Suns by 20.
Right.
Whew, I remember that day.
He's really losing it fast. Not that he's ever been like an elite athlete kind of guy, but I feel like he's just becoming Sam Perkins right before our eyes.
Sam Perkins.
With like less range.
Oh, God.
Much less swag.
Sam Perkins probably shot way less threes than you think he did.
In hindsight, I feel like he shot 10 a game, but that probably isn't the case.
I'd be shocked if he shot 1.
Sam Perkins? Nah, like career-wise, maybe not, but at
Dude,
the end,
no one shot a lot of threes. Like Larry Bird didn't shoot a lot of threes per game.
All right, guys, we're looking up. Looking up Sam Perkins.
The most that he did was 4.4.
All right, that's a lot for the back in the day. That's all he did though.
Once he got old, before you turned 30, it was always just like under 1. He had 2 years of 4, and then it all tapered back off again.
I would like to go to Sam Perkins basketball camp. It's one of his Google results that comes up when you look for Sam Perkins. Fundamentals of the game.
Sam Perkins. I miss basketball camps. They were always fun to go, especially the ones where you could like stay over. I had a couple local ones that I went to, and then I went to one where like I was hours from home. That was the shit when I was a kid.
Yeah, I feel like if I had Sam Perkins there, my life would have been different. I feel like I would have probably appreciated weed in an earlier age with the Sam Perkins camp.
I was also probably the worst player at the camp, which was always really fun.
That's good. You really put your ego back in place, so you become the scrappy white worker that you need to be on the court, taking dives and scraping.
I got traded in the at the camp as part of a 2-for-1, and I was part of the 2. True story.
Well, you know what? There's room for 2 nickels instead of a dime in this world, and you're just a nickel guy.
My problem was I was relatively tall early, but then when I went to that camp, there were people that were significantly taller than me at my age, and then I had to play what would have been normally out of position, and that didn't go well. I didn't have the slash game like I thought I would.
We'll go back to basketball real fast. One quick tangent point. So I was talking to a friend of mine about like how I would a kid and wanting to coach him, but to be good, but not be like that asshole, like 90s dad of a aspiring NFL quarterback, the Todd Marinovich kind of role. And I think to me, like the thing is you want to teach them like, look, if you work hard, if you like this and you work hard, you'll be good at it. Like that's what would help. Because to me, like I loved basketball, but I loved shooting. I didn't love learning how to dribble with my left hand. And like I would say I'm one of America's greatest shooters, but as a dribbler, I definitely have some work left to do, which I'm probably not going to hit at this point in my career.
No.
But like if somebody told me like work on that, like dribble that tennis ball, I probably would have done it, and nobody did that.
We used to dribble them around like the hallways at the high school.
That's cool. That people probably were not annoyed by that at all.
Well, I didn't give a shit about anybody in my high school.
So. We are taking your questions though right now in the premium Slack. If you have any, please drop them in there. We got Darth Bane. I think we already answered this one. Away, DeRozan or Aldridge for you. Which would you take?
I would rather have Aldridge on both sites.
I would rather have DeRozan on DraftKings, which is the only one that's relevant to me. Well, positive chats from the YouTube. I'm on point today. Thanks, guys. That's what happens when you're panicking to get on your job and your power flickers because of the dark things that Eddie is doing in his home, stirring up all sorts of witchcraft.
I don't know what to do with Lou Williams.
Not play him.
That's probably right.
I think especially for you on FanDuel, just not play him.
Yeah.
Hamstring injury for a high usage ball handler, not where I want to be.
I just don't like not like when people project well for me, and Lou is projecting like I should have him in some sort of volume. I hate excluding that just because of like a shrug of the shoulders. I don't know.
It seems fair. Here's another Trailblazers question. Any Harkless tonight? I don't have any Mo Harkless.
What could you be, Mo Harkless?
I also. Where is that? Like, did everybody just organically come to that? Because I didn't watch DFS shows, and I always did that too with a woman Mo Harkless in my head.
Oh yeah, no, I certainly wasn't watching anybody else. That's for sure.
If I have Harkless projected for 14.7 points today, so he did not make my list.
I have 1% Mo Harkless.
How could you be Mo Harkless?
I could be Mo Harkless if I had 2%, I guess.
I don't know. I guess on a slate like this, it does make sense. I'd rather go Aminu, and I didn't even go Aminu.
Aminu is... You don't have any Aminu?
Might have like 1 or 2 Aminus, but not very much Aminu.
Weird. 4,700 on DK is appealing. He's 6,300 on FanDuel tonight.
That's really high. I mean, good games. I don't know. So I've had this theory for a while where I think if you have 2 rebounders who are above 10% rebounding rate, that it usually cancels out and it ends up trickling down to another guy. And I think that would be Aminu in this spot where you have Nurkic and Capella theoretically boxing each other out and doing that thing Steven Adams does where he just pushes the guy away and doesn't even care about grabbing a rebound. You know exactly what I'm talking about, though, where it's like, just grab the board, Adams, and he just does this and just keeps the guy away. And it's like, all right, I get that. I feel like maybe this is a spot for Aminu where he just gets like 10, 11 rebounds because of that, and that's sort of his upside. But I just didn't see it with my numbers, and I didn't get there.
I get it.
I don't know. That theory's not crazy, though, right?
What?
The 10% rebound rate, guys?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know how to prove that. I don't have your fancy working backwards to learn from our mistakes in my process. So I don't know, but I feel like that's something which I've observed and just haven't fully pieced together in a way.
Well, look into it, man.
I'll get on that. I'm too busy writing ad copy for Yahoo's Fantasy Baller Million. On DK, would you crunch with over the field Kawhi exposure and re-crunch if necessary, or fade and re-crunch if he is confirmed in? You are the crunch expert, Josh. How would you handle the crunchery around Kawhi?
I would do them both.
Okay.
I mean, no, like that's the answer. If you're worried about it, do them both. Crunch one with him in, crunch one with him out, and then if you get the news at 7:59, you already have your file made.
That's probably a much smarter approach than what I did, which is just jam all the Kawhi in and assume I'll somehow figure it out.
I'm just jamming him in and not even preparing like I'm going to get that news in the next 22 minutes.
That's fair. So you're more risky then. That's good.
No, I'm just a moron.
Those could go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's all. That's just my pure stupidity and honestly, mostly laziness.
Yeah, I felt really good about stuff tonight or last night, and I feel like I want to keep that going, but this is not really the slate to kind of have that momentum. Like I had all the dudes who were under 10% who were good last night were in my pool, and I didn't have a ton of Tice. I kind of made all the right choices, and I feel like tonight's just going to blow up, and I feel like a dick again.
Yeah, I had all of the guys that were terrible last night, including some of them that didn't even play. So it was fantastic. I had a really great time yesterday. And then I had to wake up to this slop.
It sucks because that really was my night to take down one of the big tournaments. Like I was in range, and then Josh Hart sucked in the big jam. He's what killed my last lineup. I was like 20 points away from where that needed to be, and Josh Hart just did nothing in the second half. But like yesterday was a night for me where I should have been able to take one down because I had none of the guys who got knocked out, like not a single one of them, and that's what hurts when you don't have any of the guys who got knocked out and you still don't make it.
I had no chance to do anything yesterday. It was embarrassing.
But you know what? You're going to be back on the horse tonight with Al-Farouq Aminu and co.
No Al-Farouq Aminu for me.
Yeah, that's high priced. Harris and Pirtle or Aminu and Harrell for a DK single entry?
Harris and Pirtle or Aminu and
Harrell. And Montrezl.
Oh, okay, I got it here. Aminu and Harrell.
You know, I don't love Harrell today. I think he's going to be affected for the worse by Lou Williams. So I would actually go Harrison Pirtle.
Did you watch our show this morning?
No, I didn't. But I saw somebody say that in the Slack, and it was like, that's a great point. so did they get it from you where they talked about the pick and roll with Harrell?
No, that actually was a really good point. That was the only time that we got a good point out of any of the conversation. Lofty and I tried to dig into it for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, just going over NBA Wowie with them on and off. Harrell's effective field or his true shooting percentage dropped by like 10% when Lou Williams was off the court compared to on, but you know, that could just as easily be like 4 misses. He's taken like 40 something shots in the time that Lou Will was out. So, you know, sample size caveat. But yeah, he actually, I probably haven't touched anything on Wowie. So just based on raw fantasy points per possession, with Lou Will off the floor, Montrezl Harrell's fantasy points per possession drops by, or per minute rather, same thing, drops by 14%.
Yeah, I saw that on Wowie too, and I was like, oh, I guess that does make sense. I mean, in general, I do think sometimes when you lose a guy who creates space, it does sort of hurt the process. But I thought the point about him, instead of getting pick and rolls, I wish I could credit the guy in the Slack who said it, but I thought that was a really astute observation. I feel like I'm talking like Eddie now. But
no, that was
a very astute observation.
I completely agree. When I saw it, I was just like, oh, that's the sort of information we were looking for.
Yeah. And I think it does play out. Sometimes you have to, like, that stuff won't pop up on data. And, we very much advocate the data side of things, but sometimes there's these kind of questions that arise with the data rather. I feel like that's sometimes you got to just see it to know it. Are you playing Juwan Evans on FanDuel?
No.
Okay. Kenneth 5-1. I have some interest on DK, but I will probably swap him out if Crawford is in.
I can't. You got to be playing 150 lineups if you're playing Juwan Evans,
or 20, and you just like Juwan Evans. I just remember having him on the Clippers and being like, I am happy to own this guy at low ownership. So that's going to carry me through for him. He's a great point per minute player. Any interest in Van Vliet tonight?
No.
Yeah, I don't have any in Lowry, so I definitely don't have any in Van Vliet. I guess you could. Actually, no, that's not fair. You could have interest in Van Vliet without having any in Lowry, but if I'm playing it like Kawhi is playing, so I'm assuming no Raptors have any use at all besides maybe Ibaka.
Yeah, similar story here. I clearly have interest in Fred VanVleet if we find out that Kawhi Leonard is not playing. If Kawhi Leonard is in, as I'm anticipating, I have very little interest in Fred VanVleet.
Here's an interesting question, or I guess not a statement, more in the premium Slack. Why do we think they're not revealing? Like, is it an actual internal discussion of whether Kawhi should play or not, or is it like that they're just holding out because they want to catch the Clippers by surprise because they don't, because coaches love that one-upsmanship thing too?
I mean, they're probably checking to see how he feels when he warms up, if I had to guess. And they probably don't give a fuck about anybody other than themselves, which is exactly how they should treat it.
Yeah, I've been assuming all day he would play because every back-to-back he's played the front end of it. Like, I don't know why you would change that now just for a matchup with the Warriors. It doesn't seem like it fits the MO of everything.
One of the assistant coaches mentioned that they expected him to play. I don't make heads or tails. Like, the hand wringing and the people that are like, oh, he's definitely playing, he's definitely not playing. We all look at the exact same Twitter sources. No one knows this shit. It's so irritating to see even people like try to guess. Who knows? We have no clue. No clue whatsoever.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I saw the one you're talking about with the coach where he's like, he expects him to play tonight. As for tomorrow, we'll see, I think was what the exact quote was, or some proximity of that.
Yeah.
I think he sits out tomorrow.
Good.
And then tomorrow we can load up on Kyle Lowry.
Whatever I do is going to be the problem.
It's what single-handedly decides the course of action.
I am playing him heavily, so I'll bet my ass that dude is not in the game tonight. And yeah, that's basically how I feel.
Raps game tomorrow is on ESPN versus the Warriors. You can't miss that game. You can miss that game. We have seen they haven't changed those rules. Scheduled rest,
Lakers
scheduled
game.
Rest. Yeah, do that Spurs style. A lot of TJ Warren talk in the YouTube chat. Are you playing Warren at all?
Yeah.
What's his price on FanDuel?
I don't know. Awesome. Let me get to it. Sorry, I'm running my final crunch. TJ Warren is 6,400 on FanDuel.
Okay. I'm not playing him because I assume he's going to get like 25 minutes, which...
Why do you assume he's going to get 25 minutes?
He was at about 12 yesterday, and it's a back-to-back, and he got ejected around halftime, so I would presume he gets twice the amount.
Yeah, he was on pace for like 30 yesterday until he got the gate. There's no reason to think that he doesn't play a full allotment today.
Okay. Well, I don't have any Warren, so that would be my one blind spot then. I just assumed he like why would you? I guess he didn't play the minutes yesterday, so you could play him, but it's a back-to-back. I don't know. That seems risky a little bit to me.
Fuck, do they care?
True. You got the upside.
I mean,
it's worth it.
I hope that I've got him at 28, and I can't stop him from popping up in my shit. So if I moved him to like 31, which is what I actually think that he gets, I can't even imagine what would happen.
Somebody posted something. Nope, this is not a credible person. Somebody posted a link into our Slack of somebody named Ferrari Forbes saying that Kawhi is inactive tonight. He is not a person of note. He is just a guy with a rap album, it looks like. He's serious. Can you please click this link and pull it up on the stream so people on YouTube?
I've already done it.
He might know. I mean,
he's got 42,000 followers.
Yeah. I don't think that makes him a credible Kawhi Leonard injury source, unless there's something I'm missing with Ferrari Forbes' background.
I want to see if he's ever tweeted about Kawhi before.
Maybe he's in his inner circle. Ferrari Forbes, a close Kawhi Leonard confidant. Ferrari Forbes. Come on, man.
Ferrari Forbes.
I think everybody should follow Ferrari Forbes, and I'll stick with non-Ferrari Forbes news sources.
I'm searching to see if he's ever talked about Kawhi before. Nope, that's the only tweet he's ever had that had the word Kawhi in it.
He's not the Brian Windhorst of Kawhi news.
Apparently not. Forbes. I mean, if he had tweeted a couple times about Kawhi being out previously, I'd have been like, oh, maybe he just knows him.
What would be your car name if you were like what, Elantra Engelman?
Well, I drive a Prius, so it'd probably be something stupid with Prius in it.
Oh, but that doesn't work. You'd have to be like Tom. You could use Tom's name, Toyota Tom.
Okay, so let's see. Josh Engelman. Jeep Josh?
No? Jeep Josh would be good. Sounds like Cheap Josh, though.
Would also be true. Noted penny pincher.
What would Jeep Josh's album be called?
Beep beep. I'm a Jeep. Shout out to the DFS industry.
With a sample from Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
This is a good time to point out you should like this video. Do it for Ferrari Forbes, but also because if you like this video and leave a comment on the static version, you'll be entered to win in our 24 days of giveaways. Every day now, this week, we're giving away either a month to a sport of your choosing at Osmo.com. So that's whatever rankings, ownership projections, all the stuff for that sport. You get 1 month free, or you get an item from our new merch store at shop.osmo.com. Some people are buying things already from there, which we really do appreciate. All the proceeds, actually, if you do buy from the shop right now, go to charity this season. But go click that link I'm putting in the chat right now. Check out the merch, but also like this video and leave a comment to be entered to win. We're giving away something every day. Again, it's either a 1 month pass to any sport or a free piece of merch from our site. And you'll be entered to win on Christmas Eve a grand prize and all access premium memberships, Osmo.com. It's every sport. You'd win money in NHL with Jake. You can take Josh's projections and print them out and wipe your butt with them if you want. That probably would. You could also use them and win money too. It's up to you though. The choice is yours. So like the video, comment, do it on all the Osmo shows. And we appreciate every one of you this holiday season. So these are our gifts to you. There we go.
Much obliged to everybody in Slack right now who's going with, or in regular YouTube, with Jaguar Josh instead of me putting myself down and being a Jeep. They went high end. So appreciate it.
I like Jeeps. I really thought about getting a Jeep when I got my Ford Escape because I was like, I wanted a Jeep, but Jeeps have no good technology in them at all. Like I couldn't get CarPlay, wasn't worth it for the premium you have to pay.
I have never been a Jeep guy.
I love them. I always wanted a Power Wheels and I never got one as a kid, so that's probably why.
Oh, I had some like super knockoff version. I remember when the front wheel came off and I had to basically just like hold it up and run it like a Flintstones car.
Oh, the one like the red and yellow one?
Holy shit! I have no idea what color it was. I was 6 years old, man. I have no memory. I would have said that it was blue, but when you said red and yellow, like that's immediately how I pictured it. But now I don't. Now I can't picture it with any sort of confidence.
Raboshua asking, I have a lot of LaMarcus Aldridge and DeRozan playing in my same lineups, despite them rarely going off together. Is it still okay on such a small slate? I would think so. I don't like Aldridge for reasons not related to the correlation there. But I think that's smart and probably a good contrarian play on this slate. What do you think?
If I'm playing DeRozan and Aldridge in the same lineup, I want to make sure that I'm bringing back someone that would close for the Suns from their starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think that Aldridge and DeRozan are both going to have a pretty big day, you have to kind of assume that they get their full allotment of minutes, which would mean that the game is probably close. So, I mean, DeAndre Ayton is probably... I don't really know who would be safe in that case. I mean, TJ Warren would be the guy that I would like to say I would like the most, but I'd want some sort of piece of... I mean, Trevor Ariza maybe in that scenario, at least of guys that you think are going to be there in the end.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Or just, load up on Troy Daniels, who's going to shoot him into the game.
There you go. That'll work too, I guess, right?
I think so. I assume you touched on this up front, and I think we briefly touched on it, but Eric Herman asking, how do you feel about Gordon starting? I presume you're on the camp where it makes you a little bit less into Gordon.
I'm generally indifferent today. If this were like an 8-game slate, I'd have a bigger aversion to it. I'm kind of just treating it like a neutral.
Yeah, I think I have some of him, but I think the field is projected to be 20%, at least the last that I uploaded before we're starting the show. So I went about half of that because I don't feel too great about his chances. But I think he could have an outlier day. It's not impossible. Not the best spot though.
No, it's not.
It's Harden day, right? Because he hates the strip clubs in Portland, even though this game is in Houston.
There it is. Good callback.
It is funny people point out that people have watched the shows long enough to know when we rehash jokes about James Harden hating strip clubs or John Wall loving them. They're both different guys. You would think that John Wall would be more critical because James Harden seems like a happier guy.
He does seem like a happier guy.
Seems like he's enjoying life. I enjoy him in the State Farm commercials.
So do I.
Sperry202 asking, no love for Mikal Bridges for DK GPP. I do love Mikal Bridges, actually. I'm at about 30% with him.
I have almost none of him. He doesn't grade out all that poorly for me, but he's just got empty stat lines all over the place. So I guess I'm going to pass.
He is a guy who D'Anthony Melton makes better, for what it's worth. At least according to NBA Wowie. He does make him better.
What the fuck is wrong with my sheet right now?
I would say, just talking about NBA Wowie really fast, I think that's one thing that I do, which I realize has given me better insights than that a lot of people maybe don't do when going on there, is making sure that you have at least one of the key linchpins who are going to be on the floor, like in your on-court side of the NBA Wowie. So don't just take off Booker and like take off Kobo, like put on somebody, like put on Melton, put on whoever. I think that gives you a better insight into how the guys will perform as mechanisms of that player in question. And yeah, Melton is, I think, an attribute for Bridges and an attribute for Ariza, whereas like Josh Jackson, I think, hurts those guys directly.
I try to adjust for that without having to do that, but I don't disagree with what you're saying for the general public trying to use NBA Wowie.
How do you, well, I guess it's another question. We're late on time, but I'm curious.
I weigh the minutes on and off, so it's not just like a direct, oh, he goes from 1 fantasy point to 0.8. Like, my answer wouldn't then be 0.2. It's weighted because the full amount includes that already, so I kind of knock that off the top. So it kind of flattens out everything that's an issue.
That's interesting. Okay, yeah. Good to know. Yeah, I just kind of eyeball those like we're making a cake. FanDuel isn't listing Ariza as a starter. Is that a worry? I don't think FanDuel starters are ones to bank on, but Josh, you know more about that than I do.
I've never looked at the starters that are listed on FanDuel or DraftKings in my entire life.
I think it's just an approximation, Saz Crib.
If you don't find it on Twitter, just assume that it's not a real thing.
CMill007, haven't heard McCollum mentioned yet. 6,800 on DK seems like a reasonable pivot. Are you playing McCollum on FanDuel at all?
I am indeed. Double the field?
A lot of them or a little?
Double the field. Well, okay. I might not be playing shit. I've got 5 minutes and I don't even have like solid placeholders in right now.
All right. Well, so for me, from McCollum, I'll fill then. For me, from McCollum, I think he's an okay play. To be honest, like nobody on Portland graded out that well for me, and I kind of had to eyeball Nurkic up a little more because I think the matchup fits him well. But I think the pace down, plus the Vegas total being down, plus it's like a down efficiency matchup. So those are kind of the holy triangle of stats I've been trying to look at more to kind of key in on things. And to me, if you're going to be down in efficiency, down in pace, and down in Vegas total, it's kind of a bad sign. So I'm not trying to load up on Trailblazers, and that's why I ended up with a little bit of Nurkic and not a lot of Lillard and McCollum. Definitely not a bunch of them in one lineup is how I feel about it.
There we go.
Let's see. Pirtle or Holmes? Ooh.
Pirtle.
Ooh, okay. Holmes got more minutes yesterday because of Warren being ejected.
No.
Yeah, he did.
No.
Yeah, Holmes yesterday did. Yeah, he did.
So do we really want to do this?
Holmes did.
Let me get this upload in, and then I'll correct you quickly.
Okay.
Let me make sure this is the right. Let me make sure the popcorn machine is actually updated for yesterday. Okay, so this is the 10th. That is yesterday. So Rashawn Holmes was only on the floor when DeAndre Ayton wasn't. It had nothing to do with TJ Warren. They are direct backups. Really? They split minutes completely. The only time, unless popcorn machine is wrong, they were never on the floor together. Rashawn Holmes was DeAndre Ayton's direct backup.
I feel like, you know what? Because maybe yesterday, they have played together this year though. Like over the past couple of weeks when Warren was out. but I guess maybe with him back in the rotation, that bumps him back to just the straight backup spot. So I think you could totally be right, but I could be half right.
The only reason that I know this specific example, I have two reasons. One, keep your eyes out for an article on negative correlations in lineups coming out shortly from a trio of people at Osimo.com. But anyway, I know from that, one, and two, I got a couple lineups before when I crunched that had Ayton and Holmes next to each other, and I was like, I don't think I really want that. And I pulled up this most recent game flow and saw that they backed up each other like directly. I was like, nope, don't want that shit at all. And put in a very specific group, the only group in particular today, to not put them together in a lineup.
Interesting. All right, so good to know. Well, I think. Well, I actually don't know that I'm playing Holmes and Ayton together anyway, so I think I'm fine on that front. I think I have like my Suns capped at 3, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are Melton, Daniels, and insert Sun X.
Weisenberg just said, "Hey, Holmes and Ayton have played together for 1 minute this season."
I must have seen that 1 minute.
It's a really important minute.
Look, I do watch a lot of Suns games. It's very possible. You know this dating back to last year. I do enjoy Suns basketball for really, I don't know why reasons.
Yeah, it mostly just sounds like a mistake, but I don't know.
That's fair. Because I think people don't like watching these teams, so then they kind of know a little less, and I feel like that's my edge, is that I'll watch any team really, as long as it's a game on.
I'm not confident that even watching the Suns right now gives you any sort of edge into what they're doing. I feel like those dudes are just rolling the dice.
Yeah, it's a weird team. Melton's good though. I buy in on Melton. I like what he's doing.
I mean, I've heard nothing but good things as like he's worth a shot type people. I'm like, he's fine to me. I'm really surprised that they sent a Kobo down.
He's been bad. Like he doesn't look ready for the prime time at all. Whereas at least Melton looks like he's probably not a star, but he could at least be like a rotation guy.
That's good that they're figuring out the ninth man on the Suns right now. No one's ready. They have 4 wins. The whole damn team sucks. Just let the Kobo eat shit for a while.
Sorry, Suns alluded to a tweak in their lineup and did not reveal it. Maybe they're going to go heavy on Holmes and Ayton lineups.
I'm sure. Now that we just said that, I'm sure that that'll be it.
A reason not playing tonight. That's not confirmed news. We don't know about that, but who knows? Could be a reason moving to the bench.
I honestly, like, when it locks, which it just did, I don't care what happens for the rest of the night now. There's almost no chance that news coming out makes me better off.
Yeah, for me, now I have to pay attention because I'm fully in on this Kawhi debate.
I've got a ton of Kawhi. I've got a ton of TJ Warren. I've got a ton of just really my 2 most exposed guys are Kawhi Leonard and TJ Warren. It wouldn't shock me if both of them didn't play.
Yeah, well, I hope TJ Warren is on a minutes limit because I definitely made that assumption.
Why? That's 2 separate people that just said Ariza's not playing, but that is not on Twitter, thank God.
Oh, should we do real fast? What do Uncle Josh and Uncle Spags like? Uncle Chubbs?
Sure.
Uncle Chubbsy. I mean, I came late, so I feel like I'm real fresh. Like you don't need to sub me out yet.
I basically haven't gotten out of my seat today. It's the longest day I've had in, probably like 2 days, but still.
It has been a long run. These have been many, many days of work. I'm definitely like more in the overall, like I feel like I have muscle fatigue where you like do an exercise for 20 reps instead of like 8 to 12. That's where I feel mentally, but not doing any video today besides our Instagram video. I feel
I feel crisp. Like I love diving into this. I could do it for 15 hours a day. I just feel like I've neglected every other part of my life.
That I very much relate to. Even yesterday, like I didn't have to do anything because I didn't do DK live and I wasn't on our show. And I was like, I got to run some errands. Did not run a single errand. I was just like, I just want to sit on the couch and not do anything.
I'll tell you what, I don't want Christmas to be here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I haven't bought any presents. I haven't done crap in that front.
I've purchased 2. I only buy presents for Katie. Katie buys everything else for the rest of our families, including my own family.
Max saying Jeep Josh like. All All right, the numbers on DK. James Harden at 60%. Uncle Spags is ambivalent to that. It seems whatever. It's fine. Eric Gordon, 39%. Uncle Spags likes that a lot for not playing Eric Gordon. Holy shit, it's a lot of Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh boy, go Troy Daniels, go. Clint Capella, 31%. I'm with the field on that, so Uncle Spags supports that fully. I don't know how to play this game. I feel like I can't. I just come up with different adjectives each time. Al-Farouq Aminu, 27%. What a weird slate.
Wow.
See, I feel like my choice to fade Aminu looks better now, unless he has a 40-point day, in which case I'm going to look like a real asshole.
Harden came in at 60. Whew.
Yeah. I went on FanDuel too?
Yeah, on FanDuel. That was higher than we were expecting.
60% on both.
That makes me a little excited, I guess.
I actually thought I was going to be over the field at 50, so I'm okay with that.
Evan Turner, 14%.
Yeah, nobody else here. We'll go through fast. Damian Lillard, 24%. Sure. CJ McCollum, 22%. Whatever. Yusuf Nurkic, 19%. Seems I'd feel good about that if I were somebody who owned the Nurk dog. Chris Paul, 17%. It's interesting. Did you play Chris Paul? Get him out?
A lot. Okay.
I wanted to play him more, and I kind of backed off of it. But I wonder if that might have been the wrong move. Now that I see he's at 17%. BJ Tucker, 11%. Sure. Did somebody play themselves? I feel like I don't want to do any wrong by not playing with ourselves. Nobody played themselves. Sorry, Eddie.
Let's go Clint Capella. That's the guy I probably have the most leverage on the field on. That's scary.
Yeah, go not this game. Go Suns. Let's go Troy Daniels. Troy Daniels Day, everybody.
Troy Daniels Day. It's always Troy
always
Daniels
remember
Day,
today is Troy Daniels Day. Anything good in Slack real fast? Okay, no, nothing good in Slack. All right, there we go. So thank you guys for watching. Again, like this video on the static version. Leave a comment telling us how many points who Troy Daniels is going to score today. And make sure it's over 50, otherwise you won't qualify. But tell us how many points Troy Daniels is going to score in the comments. And you will be entered to win either a single month to a sport of your choosing at Awesemo.com or a free piece of merch, any merch of your choosing, at our new store at shop.awesemo.com. You'll see us wearing these products on stream soon. So get in, like this video, and leave a comment now, or you'll feel left out. And you'll also be entered to win our grand prize on Christmas Eve, which is a 1-year all-access pass to our everything that's premium on Awesemo.com. So you can win a lot of money over the course of a year, hopefully, and get a lot smarter about DFS. So go, like this video, leave a comment. Let me do the Yahoo one too, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
And also, are you looking for a tournament with a huge prize pool without a bunch of sharp players with way more lineups than you can bankroll? Then now is the time to try out Yahoo and their tournament, which might be the greatest value in daily fantasy. It's the Yahoo Daily Baller, or the Yahoo $1 Million Baller for Week 15. Yahoo is offering a $1 million total prize pool with $250,000 in guaranteed overlay, and it's a 10-entry max, so you have a realistic shot for any player to get a big win. All you have to do is sign up at sports.yahoo.com/dailyfantasy, or the link I'm going to drop into the YouTube chat right now. And if you use promo code AWESEMO, you will get $30 on any deposit, $30 or more. So you're getting that money back right away. And you get to play fantasy on Yahoo, one of the best places to play fantasy in the world and season long. So now you get into the daily world too. So go check that link out. Go play some Yahoo fantasy. Go be a $1 million baller. Any parting words, Josh?
I'm trying to figure out how much exposure I have at each time period of the day, so I know like what to pay attention to.
Oh, pay attention to the $1 Million Baller on Yahoo.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course I'm going to do that. I'm going to absolutely play that shit.
Troy Daniels, 6 points. I said over 50 entries only. Not 6 points.
Okay, so I have 23% of my overall exposure going at 8 o'clock. And I'll be 60-40 heading into the 10:30 game. So I like that.
That is real deep analysis of your lineups.
Yeah. Well, I like to know when I open up the app and then I see that I have $0 coming back to me. I like knowing that that's because I have most of my exposure in the future and not just because I'm shitting the bed.
I just look at the lineups around mine and try to gauge how many minutes they have in their guys. So your method's probably more scientific than mine, which tends to be the theme of this show.
There you go. All right, let's
But
get out of
Josh
here.
Allen Madden Day paid off for some people. I got a DM from a guy who that put him on to Josh Allen, and he had a good showing.
Well, that's
So
good.
I was happy about that.
That's good.
Josh Allen Madden Day. All right, thank you guys for watching. Good luck tonight. We'll see you again soon.
Later, everybody.